Hello, dear viewers. Welcome to this edition of the news on Rwanda Television with me, Serge Nori. I'll be sitting in for Jane Mutoni. As we begin, let us take a look at the headlines. Regional political experts have commended the EAC's decision to deal with the problem of insecurity in the eastern part of the DRC as one. Rwandan businessmen and women have been noting on the advantages of using the port of Djibouti. Now the details. Thank you again for joining us. Rwandan businessmen and women have noted on the benefits of using the port of Djibouti and provides alternative methods of importing and exporting goods, and the port authorities also emphasize that using it reduces the time goods spend in transit compared to other ports when used. That is from 3 months to just 20 days. We have the details with Betty Mutoni.
Djibouti being a strategic location between the trade routes of east and west most of goods pass through. It is also located at the heart of world trade, which help in serving and cater to global market for inland countries and regional hub for trade and logistics. Therefore, Djibouti port will help in easing transportation of imports and exports of different continents, as this is explained by Djibouti Ports and Free Zone Authority representative.
And 3 days before, we make a meeting with the private sector, and we are discussing the possibility the private sector use this terminal or the Djibouti infrastructure for the import and the export. As you are aware also, 2018 Djibouti inaugurated the biggest free trade zone. During the inauguration, His Excellency the President of the Rwanda, he was one of the guests in this inauguration. The aim of this free trade zone is also to relocate most of the factories in Asia to set up assemblage factory in the free zone to serve or to transfer to the Horn of African and the East of African and the other African countries.
Rwanda and its neighboring countries often use various regional ports where they transport their goods by use of roads after the shipping. This delays the process, therefore use of Djibouti port will be another alternative which makes importing and exporting process easy and quick, as it is explained by the Deputy Managing Director of Pan-African Logistics Limited, Shaka Michel Nyarwaya, and David Gwijema, the Chairman of Rwanda Freight Forwarders Association.
It's always good to have many alternatives so that one can choose according to their needs. You may find that maybe my cargo would spend almost 1 month and a half from China to Kigali through these other usual ways or routes, like through the port of Dar es Salaam or through the port of Mombasa. Whereas I can get that same cargo in maybe 1 month or less. So even if there is a difference in the cost, I may opt to go where the cost is higher, but I get my cargo in a short time.
One of the benefits, it's all about how can we cut the costs of our goods? How can we be facilitated if this load of Mombasa have issue? Or this issue of this load of Dar es Salaam have issue. How can we find a solution? So for the Djibouti, it's very easy. If we have a challenge for somewhere, even bargaining, when you go to politics, when these people from Mombasa or maybe from Dar es Salaam knows that we have another option, the costs will be very easy. They will try to find a solution to cut the costs. So one of the ways that is going to help us, there's a lot of advantage that we are gaining. One of the things that I mentioned, it's all about that all the competitor will know that we have another plan. I call upon all the private sector to stand and see what can we do and utilize the opportunity we have. Because the government are trying all the best to find a solution for their people. So we need also to tap that opportunity. We grab opportunity. And we do business, we grow together.
Apart from the fact that goods imported from different parts of Africa from other continents can be accelerated by Djibouti port, the representative for the Great Region noted that this port will reduce the time spent for the goods to be delivered to the owners from 3 months to 20 days.
Now we are coming to discuss with them and to promote this issue. Before there's some barrier who block the movement by the land, we are working now to facilitate the movement of the cargo with the collaboration with our neighbors country like the Ethiopian and the others as you are aware, there is in some of the East African countries, there's the member of the East African community. They mean cargo come by sea from Asia to Djibouti, then transferring by the air from Djibouti to the Kigali. So for all the route from China to the Kigali, by the both combination is 1 kg cost will be $5.5.
Currently, the goods that go through Djibouti port to 53 cities of African countries, including Rwanda, most of goods through this port are from China, where over $2 trillion worth of goods pass through every year. Betty Mutoni, RwandaTV News.
Regional political experts have commended the East African community's decision to deal with the problem of insecurity in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo as one, saying the approach is the only way to guarantee long-term security and stability, not just in the DRC, but the EAC as well. Innocent Mugabo has more on that.
The decision to call on all militant groups operating in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo to surrender was taken at the East African Community meeting at the Kenyan President's office in Nairobi, Kenya this week. The East African Community called on local armed groups to join a political process to resolve their grievances or be handled militarily. Foreign armed groups were asked to disarm and return unconditionally and immediately to their respective countries of origin. Regional political analysts see the decision as one of the fruits of DRC's accession to the current 7-member bloc.
Nta buryo ibihugu byari bifite mu buzima bwafata ibyemezo.
There is no way these countries could have helped in making a decision that would help DRC in resolving this issue. But now that it has joined the bloc, it has accelerated such measures, which have always been in discussions but never implemented. Ambassador Joseph Mutaboba, an experienced politician, finds that such a decision to be implemented is a product of the will of DRC's President Felix Tshisekedi.
Kuva President Kabila avuye ku butegetsi, President Tshisekedi ajeho hari cyahindutse no mu.
Since Kabila left power and came Tshisekedi, there has been a change in diplomacy with neighboring countries, which means that the security of his country means big to him. So joining the bloc also gave him the strength to resolve issues comprehensively. Such resolutions provide answers to the problems of the East African Community member states. Ambassador Joseph Mutaboba points out that it is a decision that leads to easy achievement of the bloc's objectives.
Yes, I agree
with the fact that this leads to success, but there must be common will. If there is one unwilling country, it will slow the pace of success. There should be cooperation among member states in making decisions. In the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo, there are different anti-government groups from neighboring countries like Burundi and Uganda, as well as FDLR, terrorist group made up of perpetrators of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda. Fact that these groups claim to be from the bloc's member states, analysts see this as a chance to have a secure Democratic Republic of Congo and the region. The countries that are most vulnerable to these groups are all members of the bloc and will be the very ones to fight them using the joint force. So this gives hope that it will work out. And I think there was a lack of practical study of how such a thing can be achieved. The meeting was held in Nairobi, Kenya, and was attended by Rwanda's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Vincent Biruta, who was representing President Paul Kagame. Innocent Mugabo, RTV News.
The Rwanda Agriculture Board has announced a plan to fund 70% of the price of modern pesticide pumping machines that are far more effective than manual ones in fighting crop pests and diseases. Officials note that this will help farmers to fight such diseases, especially during the rainy season. Olive Nete with more.
The Rurambi swamp in Bugesera district is one of the largest wetlands, as it has 1,000 hectares. It grows various crops, where rice is grown on 700 hectares and the rest is planted with other various crops. Some of the members of the Korimaru cooperative that owns this swamp say that they faced severe losses in terms of productivity due to not using pesticides that protects crops from diseases in rainy seasons.
We started farming in this swamp in 2013. At that time, we had a lot of challenges because we didn't know how to use pesticides. We used to do it in an appropriate way. Sometimes we would spray a big or few quantity of pesticides, and even sometimes we could not even spray them, and that caused us losses. We usually face a disease called Uburima. When you don't spray pesticides, you can even lose 100%. It happened to us around 2018. We faced a huge loss whereby on the field where we usually got 2 tons, we only got 300 to 500 kilograms.
Leonidas Ugirashebuja, an agronomist, points out that during rainy seasons, pests are likely to grow, which causes diseases that affect crops. He notes that using pesticides is an effective way to deal with such diseases.
Those diseases are called palcleariose. That kind of disease usually affects crops during rainy seasons. You can see that we are currently in a rainy season. That is why we tell people to use pesticides. In the other seasons, we usually spray to kill pests. But now we are doing it to fight against those diseases.
Farmers usually spray pesticides in crops using manual pumping machines, which takes a lot of time. Alphonse Shimiridjayo, an expert in the agricultural sector, notes that the use of modern pumping machines is more effective because you can spray pesticides on a large surface in a short period of time.
The money used in spraying pesticides has reduced because they used to use a lot of pesticides. For example, while spraying a pesticide called supermetrin together with agronomists in this swamp, we found that the pesticides used was a third of what is usually used when spraying. So it is beneficial to the farmers. Secondly, if a farmer used to spray pesticides in 2 days, and now we do it in only 1 day, while he or she does other activities, this will also be beneficial.
Some of the farmers access modern pumping machines through different companies, and others buy the machines on their own. Alan Zeimana, a mechanization workshop specialist in the Rwanda Agricultural Board, notes that the government plans to fund 70% of the price of modern pumping machines.
RAB has a project which is called SAIP. It's a project which supports farmers and provide up to 70% of the machines, of the value of the machine requested by the farmers.
Currently, farmers that use modern pumping machines to spray pesticides are members of large cooperatives in districts of the Eastern Province. The Rwanda Agricultural Board notes that they will keep sensitizing people to use these machines in order to fight diseases which might affect the agricultural productivity. Olive Nete, RTV News.
The local residents that use the Musanze Vungangorero Road are concerned with soil buildup beneath 2 key bridges, saying it may cause flooding and affect local trade. The Ministry of Local Government has urged the residents to participate in fighting soil erosion as a sustainable solution to the recurring problem. Ghislaine Mugwane is with the details.
Residents in the North, South and Western Province rely on the Musanze Vungangorero Muhanga Road for their livelihood. The government spent 14 billion francs to reconstruct the Rubagawa and Satinsi bridges that were destroyed, and it's been 3 years since they got reconstructed. However, there is heavy sand under the bridges, which raise concerns. Residents have decided to participate in prevention of effects caused by the sand.
We are going to put more effort so that this rainy season will find us ready to fight this sand that is destroying our infrastructure.
Minister of Local Government Jean-Marie Vianney Gatabazi mentions mining as the root cause of the problem. He also says that in 2 years, Rwanda will have all the necessary infrastructure to ensure that soil erosion is minimized, and urges local residents to play their part.
We are asking residents to keep in mind that the more we don't fight erosion, the more bridges are destroyed, hence limiting trade, and a lot of money was spent on the construction. So the solution is to start from the root cause of the problem. Another thing is to request the miners to follow instructions. They have signed agreements that they will preserve infrastructures and environment. So we ask the local authorities to follow up for those miners who destroyed the infrastructures to be held accountable and reconstruct the bridges before doing mining again. Those are signed agreements they signed willingly.
Ibyo bidukikije babone gukomeza gucukura. Amabwiriza yumvikana cyane cyane ko abantu baba barabisinye mu masezerano.
Across the country, soil erosion is expected to be felt on 587,000 hectares of land, terraces cultivation on more than 21,000 hectares, and planting trees on more than 58,000 hectares. Sislen Mugwaneza, RTV News.
Around the country on Saturday, Muganda community work focused on mitigating the effects of natural disasters. Local residents note that contributing in renovating and repairing crucial infrastructure is an essential and call on all members of the general public to play their part. Olive Nete with more.
In the city of Kigali, water pipes have been replaced, roads have been repaired, roadside bushes have been also cleared, and residents' homes have been cleaned. Some residents say that it is valuable to contribute in the renovation of nearby infrastructure activities that has been damaged. And they also say that not doing community work is failure to support the country's development.
Participating in community work is essential as it is contributing to building our country. We have to maintain our country and do what is necessary in developing it. Our country needs the contribution of every Rwandan, so if someone stays home and doesn't participate, he or she is negatively affecting the development of the country.
In Muhanga district, in the next 3 months, there will be activities to fight soil erosion on an area of 28 hectares. It is an activity that will be enforced to address issues of land degradation that flows in rivers, especially in Nyabarongo. It is a community work that was carried out across the country. The Minister of Local Government, Jean-Marie Vianney Gatabazi, notes that there is a planned community work to be carried out in a special way and that it will involve different institutions.
We are going to establish Muganda activities or community work for the youth, residents, different institutions like the police, the military, cooperatives, youth volunteers. All of them should put their efforts together to put up infrastructures meant to fight soil erosion and also cleaning the drainage systems. It is an activity we think should be done in 1 or 2 years so that people can rest. And after, we'll also plant grass and trees to fight soil erosion. And in coming years, we can continue with cleaning activities, but every community work in the country is being done to fight soil erosion. In May, we have plans to start a month of community work.
To ensure the smooth running of the community work, the Minister of Local Government notes that the participation of every citizen is required, instead of thinking that the community work day is a day of staying at home. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Now to health matters, and experts are urging all people to go for regular checkups when it comes to chronic diseases because early detection is critical for proper treatment. Precious Chirezi with more.
The medical students of the University of Rwanda Medisar in Nyarugenge district organized an event where the residing citizens got tested for blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, and many others. The event's aim was to raise awareness of the chronic diseases and sensitize the citizens on preventive measures. The citizens say they found it helpful to know where their health stands and how to keep it in good condition. The reason I came to get tested is because I love my life. The tests revealed that my height and my weight are uneven. I weigh 98 kilograms and I want to get it down to 60. I was put on a food regimen a while back when I weighed 130 and I've been advised to be consistent with it and exercise. I have reduced my consumption of sweet and oily things to help me achieve my fitness goals.
I was told my life is in a good health condition and I was encouraged to exercise more. My blood pressure is normal. My height and my weight are even. However, I was advised not to exceed 58 kilograms and I am now at 52.
The president of the Medical Students Association at the University of Rwanda, Eric Niyonjira, says that when the chronic diseases are not discovered on time, they have bad consequences on human life.
Communicable diseases are killer diseases, but which can be prevented. The prevention of non-communicable diseases include reducing the modifiable risk factors, like taking the diets which are not complete, to mean like the diets which are high in fats, and also without taking the fruits, but also having the physical exercises. We know that when people understand the modes of prevention of these diseases, they can have a healthier life. But they also need to understand that it is very crucial to get tested before, to know your measures. And once you know how your numbers are, you can take the preventive measures for not having these diseases at later stages, because the non-communicable diseases are killer diseases as well.
The official in charge of public activities in Nyarugenge district, Betty Murebwayire, says that the citizens being made aware of where their health stands helps them coordinate their day-to-day activities with a sense of security. This service was availed to them to make them aware that the only reasons that should alert a person to the nature of their health shouldn't just be when you're in critical condition and can't get out of bed, and to raise awareness to the fact that not all diseases are contagious and most of the chronic ones are not. It would help to identify a problem and have it followed up by a medical specialist to contain it. This is a key development factor, and there can be no development without life. Doctors say that non-contagious diseases are divided into 4 types. These include cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and respiratory difficulties. Preventative measures for these include the reduction of alcohol consumption and cigarettes, as well as the minimal consumption of salt and sugar, with regular exercise as a complementing factor. Aside from Nyabugogo, the testing of chronic diseases has been done in the span of 2 days. It has facilitated approximately 6,000 people that participated, and the activity was carried out at Club Rafiki in Nyamirambo as well as Maison de Jeunes in Kimisagara. The testing is free of charge. Precious Chilezi, RTV News.
The executives and employees of Koje Bank on Saturday visited the Kigali Genocide Memorial at Gisozi, where they paid their respects at the graves of the victims buried there as part of events to mark 28 years since the genocide that was perpetrated against the Tutsi here in Rwanda. We have the details on that. Genocide survivors working at the bank have commended the fact that such commemoration events are held, saying it has been helping them in their healing process.
Uruhare Koje Bank yagize mu kwiyubaka kwanjye.
Koje Bank did play a role in me rebuilding my life because it gave me a job and enabled me to care for myself and my children. When commemoration events like this are organized by your company, you feel supported and that the company wants us to remember our loved ones.
Even
though Koje Bank was founded 5 years after the end of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, the bank's executives emphasized that it too was affected. Some of us working at the bank lost our parents, brothers and sisters, other relatives and friends that we miss dearly, which is why we must take the time to remember them together while strengthening each other. First, we must be united in all we do so that the tough lessons the genocide left us with are reinforced and we can use them to build up our future. One of the reasons Koje Bank was founded back in 1999 was to unite people and help them deal with the economic challenges the genocide against the Tutsi had left. It now employs more than 370 people countrywide. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Sarah Shinhore saying thank you for taking the time to join us and enjoy the rest of your weekend.